Sorry about that, guys. I had just a little bit of confusion there. I keep getting people asking me to join the other group or this, that, and the other, and I'm not in Junk Journals. I'm not in Lou Withers. I'm actually on my own page, which is Louise Withers. I'm not in a room or anything like that. So people say they can't find me. I think they're looking in the wrong places. So I've put a little reminder on the other board. Well, I hope you're okay. I hope everyone's well. This is my first few hours off. If you hear a lot of clanging and banging, it's the washer. And I'm just sort of trying to chill, but it's a bit of an hard come down actually, because I'm trying to get everything done. But yeah, I need 10 minutes for myself and I need to chill. Yeah, I'm back on the back to it on Tuesday. So I've got three shows, 5, 7 and 9. Excuse me. So it's a bit of a crazy one, that one, but then I'm off for a few days, which I'm really looking forward to because I really do need it. Really do need it. And I thought one of my favourites, and it's quite an easy one to do, is a passion flower. No, I've already got a small little sheet here because I think that's more achievable. So a passion flower is quite simple. There's only a couple of elements to a passion flower. And it's something that was easy achievable and what we can do all together. And it's basically 2 circles. I'm sorry if I keep clicking out. People keep trying to join me other ring. If people can go and just say I'm not in the room, that I'm actually on my own page live. If you see anybody trying to do that, that'd be perfect. Thank you. It's a little bit hard to try and do this. Hi Jane. Hi Linda. Oh, Wendy, did you miss me Moodles? Oh dear me. Sorry. Hey, covered in sawdust, who cares? Hi Louise. Hi Hilary. Hi Sonia. Hi Kat. Hi Sandy. Hi Emma. Hi Joyce. Hi Denise. Hey, I hope things are okay. Hi Katie. Hi Sue. Hi Tricia. Yeah, it's going to be great, Denise. Look forward to it. Oh, great. Hi Emma. It's lovely to see you. Hello Amanda. Yeah, so basically we're going to look at something really achievable, something really easy to do and really simple but very satisfying to do, because you can do them quite straightforward and large, or you can do them sort of repetitive. It's up to you. Really simple to do. So the first thing we're going to do is maybe I'll draw a bigger one so that you can see, and then you can take it from there. But this is my sort of my singular drawing. So we're just going to draw a full circle, okay? Then we're going to draw another circle, and then an inner circle. Now the inner circle of a passion flower has got a lot going on it, a lot. So you've got to make that the right size. So if I was to draw that, it wouldn't have the same, do you know what I mean? So really look at some of the things you're drawing. Does that centerpiece need a larger bit? Does it need longer petals? Does it? And just really look at the flower. Get your own flowers. Now yesterday, was it yesterday? No, I don't even know what day it is. Tuesday. Oh, it was when I went to Burley House. I stopped by the road and there were some beautiful poppies. I've noticed a lot more poppies at the moment. And I thought, oh, these are gorgeous. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to draw them. So I took some pictures of them. So it's always mindful and correct to get your own pictures. But there's lots of images that you can take from the internet, photographs and things. Not nick them, use them as inspiration. So by that, I mean copy the leaves, copy the petals. You're not taking them and mechanically reproducing anything. You're just looking for inspiration, if you have not got a close-up of a poppy or a passion flower or anything like that, you can use the influences from the internet. That's all okay. If you do take an influence, it's always nice to make sure you know who they're from. So we're looking at a passion flower, and there's three main elements to it. Well, I think there's four main elements to a passion flower. You've got the outer edge, which are the petals. Then you've got this inner set of petals, and then you've got another set of petals with another set, and then we've got these, like, what I think they look like trumpets. So let's get the first thing set up. As always, let's draw. Now you have to be mindful of how many petals something has. So I'm looking at my particular drawing, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's got 10 petals. So if I do 4, 6, 8, see, I'm looking at that and thinking I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've got to look at a way of splitting this up now. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I can deal with numbers later. It doesn't have to be exact. There's no one saying that has to have 9 or 20 petals or whatever. You can choose. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to go for 8. I don't care. I really don't care. What you can do is offset slightly when you start to sort of get, let me show you what I mean. Rather than going 12 and all that, you can go start your 11 there, and then work, and then see, and it's slightly offset if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can offset them slightly, but I'm going to go with 8. I don't care. I mean, there is an importance if you're going to get them historically right or whatever, you know. And then, like, looking at this, I can play around and get another 2 petals in there, but I'm not particularly bothered. So the shape of the petals, yeah, these could be a bit big. We'll do another one and see if we can fit the 10 on. So the next set of petals have a wonderful sort of frilly bit to them, and then this bit has more of a frilly bit, and then we have a petal. So I'm just going to put a little one in the middle just to help myself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my petals. Now, I love the petals, so just to give myself a head start, this time I'm going to round off these, because my tendency is to change the shape of the petal as it comes nearer the top. So mine end up going like pointed like that, or they end up going like that, and I need to sort of keep it consistent. If you've got a compass or one of your stencils, that's great, but I'm going to go up and round. Treat each petal separately. See, they're already getting out of sync. But that's not too bad, I can deal with that. See, I reckon I could probably fit another 2 in there. It's a bit wrong there. Can you see? I've gone way out. So this is the time now just to bring out my petals a little bit more. And you will have days where it won't go perfectly right. Like here, I need to just bring that out a little bit there and that out there. And you can go outside your circles once you've established where they are. It doesn't matter. There's no rules to this. We're getting a likeness, so people get, oh, that looks like a passion flower. Not, oh my God, that's a. Sorry, I don't know what to say. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, that's a. I'm all gone mad at me saying that. Oh my gosh, that's an absolute replica of a passion flower. It's, oh, that looks like a, and that's all that matters. It's a resemblance of. Don't tie yourself down with too many boundaries at the beginning, because then you'll just throw in the towel straight away. So the next thing is we need to think about the inners, because if we put too many lines in of this frilly bit here, we're going to miss all the stamens and stuff. And if I'm looking at this, it's got like a trumpet. It's almost like a circle with a... Can you see that? Okay, so I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, right, it says here they've got more or less along these lines. So if I put one here, now I know it's a bit regimented, but I'm not particularly worried, it's just spacing it. Okay, so I've got 3 there, and then I'm going to bring in another one here, another one here, and I've got 2 here. This is how you split them up, put one in the middle, and you've sort of got, and then you might have one there and one there. Okay, so let me draw them again. So we've got circle, it's a squash circle known as an ellipse. Okay, ellipse. So it's a squash circle. So if you think it's a circle and then it goes a bit more squashed, you're squashing it and condensing it. Okay, so that's what we're drawing, an ellipse. And the ellipse doesn't have to be perfect. The only thing is, a circle does not have corners, so don't be tempted to do that. Even a squash circle like that won't have corners, it'll be rounded. So there is rules to ellipses. So I've drawn them in, and then I'm just going to lightly bring them maybe a bit smaller than that. And now I'm drawing them in, I can see where the other lines will cross over. Like that. Don't worry about them, we've got them in. We've established where they're going to be. We've given sort of an area to take over, and we won't draw over that now because we want those to stay white. Okay, so then we can start to put in. It's a very simple flower, this, very, very simple. And the next line here is really strong to here. So let's just establish this line again. And we'll go into this line, and these are tall and thin, like that. Now what I want to do is maybe cut the confusion down. So the first thing I'm going to do is establish the background. Okay, that way you can start. Okay, you can start establishing where things should be and then adding the rest. So the first thing I'm going to do, oh, come on. Now you'll have to excuse me, I would normally do all this before, but they're stuck in my car at the moment. So I'm going to establish the little circles first. You might ask me, why am I doing this first? Because these I want to be the focal point. Oh no, not focal point, that's a bit wrong. I want these to stand out. And if I start to draw the back lines in first, I'm going to be going over these. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to set these in. Now, they are a bit longer and thinner than that, so I'm going to do it more like that. So what I'm doing is this. Can you see a little bit? So not as much, not so much that. Although if you're not confident to do that straight away, do that as a tube and then do a V, whichever suits your confidence. So I'm just going to bring them not to the exact point into the centre. Because they will occupy different areas. There we go. So we've got my centre. It looks a bit bobbly, but who cares? Now around here, does have another. There's so many lines within these. And I've put a simple line in because this is where we will be drawing to. And there's even another one to here, but the next thing I want to do is get my big petals in. And I'm only drawing them to that line, okay? Now this one's a bit like a sausage, so what I'm going to do is use this time to either slim the top down or bring the sides in. It's easy to do because once you've drawn where you shouldn't be going, it's easy to go where you should be going. If you rub it out, you just make the same mistake again. Okay, so I might do a couple of these and make this as a nice frame. Okay, I'm really enjoying this. Now I know that there should be more petals in this, but hey ho, who cares? At the moment I want to sort of do my own version, and this is my own version, so I don't care. So the next set of sort of petals that are on it are to this here. Now I'm only going to do it to this line, so I'll just show you what I'm doing, and it's long and thin. Now please don't be tempted to just do bobble bobble bobble, because it will go wrong, I can guarantee you. And I know, because I'm only telling you because of past experience, because you'll end up getting them thicker and thicker, like I'm going a little bit thicker now. So slim them down. You can always add another, always. And those of you that are gardeners, green fingered or whatever you want to call it, you will have perhaps flowers in your garden that you can use as inspiration. Now they do sort of go to, like, it's not a dead, well, mine isn't a dead circle, but it does look like, nature's amazing, isn't it, when it gives you these boundaries that you're like, wow, how does it know to do that? How does it all know not to go over that? So I've got a bit wibbly wobbly, but who cares? I'm just going to look at it now to see whether I'm keeping that shape, and then what I'm going to stop there and I'm going to go back to the beginning, and I'll tell you why I do that. Because it's easier to lose the consistency and then change the shape of the circle, the depth or the height. So I'm just going back to the beginning and checking that. And I'm just going to go down to that. Now it doesn't matter that I've not gone down, because I can easily just draw some extra lines on it like that. So I'll draw it like this so you can see a bit better. So I'm going to go up and down. I'm doing each one separately. What I'm not doing is, because it can you see how it goes wrong? So what you can do is just put a few extra on if you wish, but keep swapping over. Sorry about the shouting, guys. It's the neighbours. That's all they do. Mind you, they probably say the same about all of us. The dogs fight, they've had animals fight, the kids fight. Actually, the kids don't fight, it's parents who fight. So here I've gone round. So I've got my inner. Now here there's an even thicker one, and this is where you can you really can make that thicker. keeping your pen the right way, so 12, 3, 6, 9, whatever. And then what I'm going to do is just on the inner, just on the very inner one section there, I'm going to put in some dots. Now what I'm going to do is just going to take a lot of the lines away that we've already drawn, just to simplify it. Now this is very stylized, it does need those other two leaves, but petals, sorry. But hey ho, we can draw another one that doesn't, you know. So what we would do is just move them over slightly to fit another one in. But we've got these, and I'm just going to place. So if you've gone over a little bit in those lines, hey, yeah, it don't matter. So I'm just adding some little, now has got some like little marks here, there and everywhere. It does tend to sort of tiny little lines, like little dots, just to give it a bit of depth. Might be a bit ropey down the centre, or it might be a bit bashed, but you will find there's little specks on the leaves, and I always put these in with my dots. So, and dots hide everything, they're wonderful, aren't they? If it's not already sussed, that's how I draw. All my drawings tend to be with dots and lines, because if you can't shade it, or you're not very happy cross-hatching with a pen, then doing it with a pencil is just as hard, but doing it with dots is even easier. So let's draw another one. Okay, so if you've got lots of circles that all meet those diameters, do it, or use a compass. Like I said, mine are all in the car at the moment, so it's a bit of a pain in the bum, but I'm going to do, you know. So here, I'm going to look for half that way. So I need to fit on, how many is it? 10. So I've got to get 5 on each of these. So if we go 1, 2, 3. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So let's see what this looks like in comparison to. Now, if you do get it like that and you're happy with it, just bring your lines down, and then you'll get it. Can you see how this is set at the 12 o'clock and this has just gone past? So now we have got these lines. We'll see how this one, see, it looks a bit out of sync, so just go, because you're rubbing your pencil out, it doesn't matter. There we go. So we've got our basic shape. Remember, it still looks too big here, but hey ho, you'll get used to it doing your own. And again, we're going to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. So here, now I'm going right over my circle just to get the feel of it, but you don't have to. You can go to your top circle just to see, because I need to sort of gauge the right shape there. It might be that I need to bring these in or bring them out, or I think that could be a little bit too small for the rest of it. So once you've got established the shape that you like, then you can start to sort of really go over the lines that you want. So you look at them and I think, yeah, I quite like it. So really, nothing to stop you sort of putting an extra line in there, and that is just going over what you've already done. So you just go over what you've already done. Now remember what we said, that we've got these ellipses, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've put 9 in here. So this is the first thing we do. Let's get our ellipses in. When the circle's more like that and more full, it means it's looking at you more. And by that I mean it's more face onto you. You know what I mean? It's not an ellipse, it's more open. So you would have less of a sort of vision on your, you wouldn't see as much of the triangle part. So I'm just going to run these in. I could treat each one separately. Even if you've got a little bit of a wobble, it doesn't matter. You wouldn't see that one. I would see this one. And I would see this to a fashion. Like that. So I'm happy with that. Got my first lot of circles in. I'm going to go straight in with my petals, and I think I'm going to just keep an eye on the basic shapes that I'm feeling are the best fit. Oops. So straight onto the line that you best fit. That's a bit out into it, but you probably won't notice that if I make this one a bit bigger. But your pencil lines are so important because they're there as guidelines. They're not there as, you know, if you don't if you don't hit that line, it's all wrong. That's not right. That they're there for a reason, and they're there because you think, right, it's a guideline. This is not like a be all and end all. I'm looking at this now and I'm thinking my next like wiggly line should be therefore extended a little bit. Don't be frightened to move the boundaries, you know, because that's what it's about. It's about you realizing that the boundaries do need to be extended, and just do it. If you feel that that's got way out of hand, here's another little trick. Get rid of them all. Just for now, because for me there was way too many lines, and then just draw them in again very lightly, and we're keeping it. There we go. So now then we'll have the other next one, and you can draw over because you're not drawing over them with your pen, you're just keeping them as a guideline. So the next one is, we're going to use this, and we're just going to keep these a little bit more uniform. Now I did notice that the petals at the back properly fill the spaces, so you wouldn't have a big gap like that between your petals. It would be basically full. So, you know, I'm learning, and each time I draw one I'm spotting new things, like, so that's the important bit, that each time you draw you're actually learning from the last time you drew. And although there is a tendency to become very complacent and then just take it for granted that it's that shape, and you know that shape and just do it, and then we become lazy with the shapes. And that's why sometimes when the first one is usually the best one, because we're really concentrating on it. because we're trusting that, oh yeah, we can do that, I know how to do that. It might look like I'm just going round and round and round, but I'm actually lifting my pen off again. I'm going little finish to here, and then I'm going to go up, back up to this one, because I think this will help me keep the right shape round. I'm following the lines round, and what I mean by that is I'm just going to put in following the lines round, I'm just going to put in maybe a little extra one here, there and everywhere. See, quite spaced out here, there's a bit of a flat bit there, but in the scheme of things, these are all what we call studies, flower studies, to help us really embrace and enjoy our flower skills and drawing skills, not to rip us apart. So here I'm going to go quite, oops, sorry, that was my head hitting the camera. So I'm leaving the ellipse part, and I'm drawing right to the middle to see what I feel like this one better. I'm just gonna, I'll show you what I'm gonna do with that in a minute. So I'm going all the way around there, all the way there, turning my book round to suit 12, 11, 10. And when I do a couple of drawings like this, I like to look and say, right, I like that one better, I like that one better, that looks better. And then I pick out the reasons why I think it's better, and I'll do it with you now. So let's look at this now. So rub out the lines. So first of all, the basic petals, the structure of having more petals looks better. I think if I was to do it again, I think I would perhaps bring out the petals more to meet like that, so that they're touching more. I like the idea of making a difference inside and leaving the little stem things white. I think I prefer having a darker centre or a lighter centre. I think either one works. I think I like those lines better than those lines, but there again, they're both all right, there's not an issue with them. I think having just a couple with more concentrated dots on really does make a difference, rather than having lots of dots just not making any point. And I think having a few coming from maybe in between these lines, so that they're picking up from here and then travelling out like that, I think that will make a difference, you know, sort of arriving from there rather than just happening. So I think you need to sort of pick. See, I much prefer that to just having a line, you know, that's just me putting dots in for the sake of it. So I do think there's a couple of things to be learned when you're doing stuff like this, is really look at the flowers that you're using, look at what you've got. If it's a picture, take a picture of a flower if you can. If you can't, use an influence, but use it in the proper way. Put your dots on to create a different texture. if your lines go over, don't worry about it. Go over it with your dots. The dots do create a different texture, completely different. They've just come a bit lighter nearer. Can you see the dots? They do create a difference to it. Having lines to work to really help. The last bit of this, which is we've done really well, is we can draw maybe a leaf behind it, because you have a nice tree, like it's an ivy shape, but it's not an ivy shape. So if I draw it for you, it's this shape. So I'm going to fit it on here. Okay, that's basically maybe a bit bigger, like that. Okay, so got me that sort of shape, but it's 3. So what we need to do is just look at them. So I'm going to do the first one, which is a lovely oval shape like that, and then 2 more oval shapes, and then they sort of got a lovely sort of fit around the flower there, but they don't always have that fit. I'm just drawing it in. So then they've got a circle there which allows it to come back, and they've got it's a bit thick there, and they've got a lovely stem which comes from the middle like that and goes either side, and the veins, they join, they're not staggered, so it's like that. So let's draw that in. So it's a now I've noticed I'm a bit out with my lines, so this is the place and time to change that, because what you are doing is going over in pencil, in pen, and changing it. So you're doing your work in pencil and then doing your final decisions in pen, and because you've already decided that it looks wrong, it doesn't look in sync, this is the time to change it. But if you keep rubbing out, you'll always make the same mistake, and that doesn't always, it just doesn't work. It just does not work. So, and I mean, I can see where I've gone a little bit wrong here. But there's a little trick here. I can make that look a little bit bigger. I can make it look like it's folded over. By putting some dots in. So there's always a way, but they do have a nice shape. I'll do one from the stem. I've got like they do have curved stems. They have this lovely, it's like a diamond shape, but it's not. So this one fits. There we go. Let's put this little one on here. So come down with the vein at the stem. So that fits, and it all sort of stems from the middle out. There are lots of options out there that allow you to draw different flowers and shapes, and lots of different ways of doing it. So my way isn't just the only way. There are hundreds of ways of doing it. I just know how to pick out shapes, basically. But there are lots of books and things that you can get if you want to do this more. I mean, I think that could be a little bit bigger, but it's okay for the first time. We've done what we needed to do. We've put passion flower here. Quite like the idea of you know, when you perhaps, if you look at on the internet and you get a section of it here, and you just, this is how I would do my research pages, is I'd get that there and I'd really look at the way that the little stamens are all, you know, and the flowers behind it, what they look like. So it's almost like you're going and take with a viewfinder and taking an element out and drawing that back in. But it does give you a really good way of sizing everything up and looking at it and thinking, right, okay, I like that, you know. And as I said, I would chunk up these petals a little bit. But have a look at your petals. If you've got a passion flower, look, measure from petal to petal, and then petal to petal on the inside and petal to petal, and it gives you a good indication of the actual size. Then you can do all your drawings. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy our passion flower together. Really enjoyed our passion flower, and it always makes me happy when I do my 10 minutes drawings. So we've done our lovely passion flower, and I'm going to go off, research some more on passion flowers, and I will see you all tomorrow at 12 o'clock for your Moodle, because I won't be seeing you on, I always get the wrong, I think it's Tuesday I'm down here, I won't be seeing you Tuesday. Okay, so thanks so much for your time. I'll have a quick look at all the things that you've written, because I don't, as you know, I don't always keep up when I'm writing because they're not there anyway. But not just that, I just it's just a bit difficult to try and answer all questions without sort of interrupting everything. So I tend to sort of look at them later and try and answer them then. So have a brilliant day today. I hope it's nice where you are. I hope you can like show us what you've done. And I really love to see what you've done. And please put it in junk journals of Mindful Mixed Media Art, and then we can all share our work. And I'd like to make a complete Moodle with these maybe tomorrow, and doing an abstract pattern with them. So hopefully we can take the drawings we've done today and work on them further and make it into an abstract piece tomorrow. So thank you very much, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.